Hello there, kids. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? I hope you missed me a little bit because I didn't take any session for you last Monday. But here I am back again. I hope you're still excited to learn more and more about the plants. Welcome to the same series that we've been continuing for dummies, plants. Today we will be talking about the next installment in plant tissue. Last class, we had a conversation about how plant tissues are different from each other, what are the major types of plant tissues you'll find. So we will talk about all of it. Don't worry. We'll revise it within 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will proceed into the rest of the information. My name is Sourajit Das, and welcome to the YouTube session of ODA Class. Like and share. Make sure you click on the bell icon so that you know when we come up with a new topic and you can attend these classes for free. What else do you need? Today, I'm here to not only teach you, but also to tell you a little bit about our ODA app. Our ODA app is where you can learn the most innovative way possible. Gone are the days for books where diagrams are drawn. This is the new generation, so you should be able to read it with the real images. Gone are the days when your diagrams could not move. But what if I tell you, like Harry Potter newspapers, things in our classrooms move? And that's how you should be learning science. Maths also. Our maths teachers are great. They can give you tricks to remember and execute larger calculations in a time efficient manner. Now, not only our free classes are amazing, we have a weekly class which is called Bridge Course. This is a trial class where you can try all our features, all the perfect things that you will need to study with us. Not only we provide you with the material, but we also provide you with great set of teachers. You can have an opportunity to be taught by teachers who have graduated from IITs and NITs, reputed institutes in India. You're not going to find them everywhere. To access these teachers, come join us with Bridge Course so that not only you get to be taught by them, but you also get to experience one of the unique qualities of our course, which is personal teacher support. Imagine a world where you have a person or a teacher always helping you out. They know what you're going through, they know how to handle it, and they know how to provide you with academic and emotional support as well. As a student, I think that can be a huge game changer, specifically if you're in high class as well as really low classes like first to fifth standard. So, if you are interested, go ahead. There's a link in the description of this video where you can join with a scholarship. Now, this scholarship link is mine and it is only active for 3 to 4 hours. If you want to purchase the course, which is actually a 499 for just 500 rupees, 10 times less than its own value, you must use the link. Click on the link, it will take you to your enrollment page and you can register yourself immediately. The seats are limited. Each batch contains only 20 to 50 students. So if you want to register, make sure you do it immediately. We see majority of our students enrolling directly from YouTube because the scholarship link is always active. So make sure you join the flow and get yourself enrolled. Welcome to another class. Let's get on with it. My name is Sourajit Das and I will be your teacher for this class today. I've been teaching for more than 6 years now and I have taught and seen through people succeeding for more than 6, 7 years. I've taught more than 4 lakh students. In each class, I teach more than 100 students. That allows me to know what kind of difficulties you face when you're learning a new topic and how I can make it simple. So let's talk about it. Today, we bring one more installment to the series that I've been taking for you, which is for Dummies Plants. We've talked about plant tissue in the previous class. Today, we continue the same and we try to revise a little bit. Last class, we learned about plant tissue. Plant tissue is basically a form of cellular organism which is present in all multicellular organism. Tissue is made up of cells. Cells are the unit of life. If you want to learn more about cell and tissue, I've discussed about it in the previous video. More reason for you to go check out in our channel, check out all the videos in this series and learn from it in a sequence. When it comes to plant tissues, they can be mainly of two types. One type, which is able to divide. It is able to divide and it will form other tissues which cannot divide anymore. Whereas the other type, which does not have the capacity to divide. In our body, majority of our cells are able to divide in terms of an animal. But in case of plants, it's a little different. So when it comes to in your body as well, in your plant's body as well, there are two types of tissue. Meristematic tissue that divides its entire life and generates more tissue, and permanent tissue, which does not divide and it mainly supports the plant structure. When it comes to these two types of tissue, we have talked about meristematic tissue in the previous video. Based on their location where you can find the tissue, there can be three types. Apical meristem, which is always at the tip of the branches or the tip of the root, which allows the plant to grow lengthwise. Intercalary meristem, which will be found in the nodal parts of your stem, which allows the plant to create branches and extend its height from middle. And lateral meristem, which is going to be on the side of your plant, which allows you to increase the girth of the plant, same as root and stem. So these are the three different types of meristematic tissue. We have covered them in more detail in the previous video, so I urge you to go check it out. Today we are going to talk about permanent tissue. Now, the major difference between permanent tissue and meristematic tissue is that meristematic tissue can divide its entire life and create more, whereas permanent tissue cannot. Either you exist or you die and leave your carcass body behind. That's the basic idea of your permanent tissue. Now, in case of meristematic tissue, the easiest way to recognize them is that the cells will have a prominent nuclei because they divide very frequently. The cells will not have much intercellular space because of the compactness, and they will divide regularly, and of course they will have very thin cell wall because of the high number of division. When it comes to permanent tissue, it's the opposite type of cell organization. You will see that their cells are well defined. They will usually have intercellular gap, as well as they will have differentiated cell, which will have good thick cell wall. So in case of permanent tissue, these are the tissue that contains non-dividing cells. So that is the first criteria. Okay. Second, we need to remember that these tissues are also differentiated. So they are a proper tissue. They are not going to change their identity later on. And these are derived from the actually meristematic tissue. Remember when I told you that meristematic tissue forms the other tissue that cannot divide anymore? That is how it actually works. So in terms of your plant, whenever it's growing, it's actually growing with all different types of tissue. In case of the permanent tissues, you must remember the cells will come across very large and will have a defined shape and size. They are not going to be random. They will have a proper defined shape and size. They will have intercellular space as well, which is the best way to recognize it. When you go for these kind of cells, you will find that they have pretty good amount of spaces in between them. They are not that strictly congested with each other. They will also have large vacuole, which is a good healthy sign of a proper plant cell. When the plant cell is quite mature, it usually contains a vacuole, which allows it to regulate itself during different types of hypertonic or hypotonic situation. So when it comes to your permanent tissue, these are the main things. The cells will be large, well-defined shape and size. They will have intercellular space, and they will have a large vacuole in them. Now, when it comes to permanent tissue, this permanent tissue again can divide into two different types, and that is completely based on their cellular organization. Now, we know that in terms of a tissue is usually made up of the same type of cell. For example, your heart is part of your circulatory system. The heart is an organ, and it is made up of a single type of tissue, and that is your cardiac muscle. Now, all of the cardiac muscles are same, identical in function and in identity. Same goes for your muscles, normal muscles, or your nerve cells as well. That makes up your central nervous system. Same type of cells. But in case of plants, there is a little difference. Even though it seems very simple, but there is a little sense of sophistication here. In terms of plants, you can have two types of permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue, which is made up of only one type of cell, and complex permanent tissue, which is made up of multiple different types of cells. That is the interesting part here. Some of the permanent tissues are just same type of cell clustered together, whereas some of the other permanent tissues, such as complex ones, are not the same. They are the one made up of multiple different cells. So here also you can see how the entire tissue circle is right here. You will have more amount of permanent tissue around here, so that it can provide support. Inside also, this part that you're seeing, this is also a type of permanent tissue, but this is a complex permanent tissue, which usually makes up the bundle of your, or you can say vascular system of your plant. Today, we're going to focus on the simple permanent tissue. So let's learn more about it. If you want to learn about the complex permanent tissue, make sure you join my other session, which will happen at 4 o'clock. Now, the permanent tissue in terms of plants mainly provide with support protection as well as forms the vascular tissue. Vascular tissue basically means xylem and phloem that you have learned since like third standard. Okay. And these are the main sources through which material is transported from one to another using the vascular tissue. Now, when it comes to permanent tissue, these permanent tissue can contain living or dead cell. That's the best part. Tissues that are also made up of dead material is also present in terms of plants. So let's talk more about it. When it comes to permanent tissue or simple permanent tissue, there are three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. All the plant tissues are, permanent tissue. Some simple permanent tissue usually will have a chyma at the end. So it's easier to recognize which group they belong to. Now, when it comes to these type of, let's understand where you can find them and how they are different from each other. When it comes to your, did I do a mistake here? Sorry, this is not collenchyma. This is parenchyma. Okay. When it comes to your parenchyma, these are supportive tissue. The cells will have good amount of unspecialized version of themselves. They are not yet settled. They are almost differentiated, but not yet perfectly differentiated. So they can show a little bit of unspecialized characteristics. They will also have a thin wall structure because they are packed together very well, and that is one of the reasons why parenchyma tissues are the packing tissue. Now, there can be two different types of parenchyma sometimes. Some of the parenchyma tissue might contain chlorophyll in it, which is why we call it as chlorenchyma. Chlorophyll, chlorenchyma. Okay. Some of the other parenchyma tissue might contain air sac. For example, plants, aquatic plants such as lotus, lily. These plants usually they have to sway with the movement of the water while they're growing. So for that reason, to maintain a proper physics of buoyancy, they need a little bit of air in their stem. And that's why their parenchyma develops air sac inside them, which contains a little bit of air, allowing them to sway without being broken by the water flow. So that is called aerenchyma. Aero for air, aerenchyma. So what did we learn? Parenchyma is usually the packing tissue. It is not yet perfectly differentiated, so it will have thin wall and very less intercellular space. There will also be two different types: chlorenchyma if it has chlorophyll, and aerenchyma, which is in case of specialized plants such as hydrophytas. Now, in case of collenchyma will be differentiated. By the time the cell has differentiated, they usually will have a very elongated structure and irregularly thickened at the corner. Okay, so if I want to draw a structure for parenchyma cells will have, very well clustered and jammed together as a packing material. But in case of collenchyma, the cells are there. The cells are well defined shaped, but their cell walls for some reason have a weird shape of getting thicker at the corner, so that the intercellular space becomes even less and less, and that entire space gets perfectly fitted like a puzzle with the thicker cell walls of each cell. This is collenchyma. They are irregularly thickened at the corner. Sclerenchyma, on the other hand, is a little unique. That is because sclerenchyma is made up of dead tissue. Cells were alive at one point of time, but now they're dead. And before they die, because of a longer duration of cell existence at that point, their cell walls have become really thick with deposition of lignin. Okay, lignin, which is a polymer used by plants, which is kind of your cousin brother of cellulose and all. Lignin comes from the same family of polymers. So lignin deposition causes the edges of these cells to become even thicker, and then the cell dies, but the structure that the cell built remains. Imagine it this way: time is a very big construct, isn't it? Time wins over everything, kings and queens, and entire empire. But when the empire, all the people have died, the empire still stands for a while, right? Before it gets completely destroyed with time. Before the decay, you can still find Taj Mahal, for example, still says the person who made it died, but still it exists. The same way, the cells have died, but their lignin made deposited thick cell walls, they still embrace the quality of time. Now, where can you find this kind of tissue? Parenchyma is found all over the plant actually, and you will mainly find it in the cortex region. Okay, cortex region of the plant, just below the dermis, or you can say epidermis. Whereas collenchyma will be found mostly in the leaf stalk and other places of the plant which requires flexibility. Okay, collenchyma is specialized because of that corner puzzling. They are specialized at forming curved structure in a plant's body. So you will find them in climber plants stalk. You can find them in tendrils of other plants. That is where collenchyma is a perfect suited candidate to be in. Whereas sclerenchyma usually forms hard material. It's like a bark material, you know. So because of that, you will find it in these coats of the seeds or hard coverings of other seeds such as coconut. The coconut husk that you usually use, those used to be living cells, but after the cell has died, the brown part that you find once you open up a ripe coconut, that is sclerenchyma. Also almond, the outer covering of almond, the skin that you see, that is also a result of sclerenchyma. Of course, you will learn more about it as you go along, because sclerenchyma can also have multiple different, smaller structural variation. But the hard material that you usually find in a plant's body, which is made up of dead tissue, is most of the time made up of sclerenchyma. So these are the three different types of simple permanent tissue. To go and understand a little comparison of their structure, as you can see right here in parenchyma, look at them. The cells are pretty well clustered together. You can find very little amount of space in between. Whereas in case of sclerenchyma, you can see how thick the cell wall is and how perfectly geometric they are. That is only because of the thickening of the cell wall. They have adjusted each other on a geometric level. When you go to higher class, you will eventually learn that there are powerful configurations in case of a geometrical shape as well, and sustainability in terms of a structure can depend a lot on geometrical structuring as well. So when it comes to a sclerenchyma and collenchyma, they both follow that same trend. Sclerenchyma, here you can see how perfectly geometric they are. They're pushing against each other's wall, and that's the reason, that's exactly the situation where they, if they die also, the lignin deposited thick walls will still be able to withstand a lot of pressure. Collenchyma, on the other hand, seems like they are heading for sclerenchyma stage. They have still not moved there, but they are there. They also will have a thickened version at the corner of those cells. So these are the different types of simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue plays a huge importance in terms of the plant bodies stacking. On the other hand, complex permanent tissue are made up of multiple different types of cells. We will talk about complex permanent tissue at 4 o'clock class. Make sure to join, share and like the video, and of course, click on the bell icon so you get to know more about it. Check out the ODA app as well if you want to take our free classes and also learn more and more about this. There are amazing set of teachers. You only see me here, but there are other amazing teachers who are teaching in the app, and go ahead and check it out. Make sure you register for our bridge course as well. If you are somebody who values quality, this one is for you. If you are tired of the free classes and you want to try something new, try new teachers, new topic, and amazing amount of help from our personal teachers, this course is the one that is made for you. Possibly you guys are made in heaven for each other. So go check it out. Join for our Monday batch. Till Thursday is the best time to enroll for the Monday batch because the seats are still open. After Thursday, there will be very low seats. There might not be any as well. And if you really want to join with a scholarship and you want to use my teacher scholarship link, you need to do it at the earliest. You're not the only one who's watching this video. There are so many other students watching it. Make sure you be the first one to register yourself with the discounted price. There are amazing things you can learn with us, and I am hoping that you will join for some of those best things. I'll let you know on another best thing about studying with us, and that is you can earn while you learn. Our classes give you rewards every time you answer questions, submit your assignment, do well, and just show up in the classroom and be a good student. You can win more than 1,000, 2,000 coins called ODA coins, which is a valuation of around 200, 300 rupees in Indian currency. You can use these coins to buy amazing gadgets for free. It's your earning. Nobody can say anything. It's your earning. Use the coins to buy gifts. These gifts will also be sent to you directly at home for free of cost. I know it's amazing. Find me one more place where you can learn and earn at the same time, but you can't. And if you really, really liked our classes and you want to take more and more of these, make sure you check out our other videos, what teachers have taken. Make sure you enroll for the Monday batch. That's all for today. Like and subscribe the video. Share it with your friends so they also get to learn about it. I'll be back with another topic very soon. Stay tuned. Click on the bell icon so you get to know about the next video. Till then, have a wonderful week and see you soon.